They told us it was safe and effective, that it was necessary, a small price to pay for protection. But what if the real threat wasn't what they claimed to be fighting, but what they were injecting into us all along? In the last 4 years, an invisible enemy has crept into homes, schools, workplaces, undetected, unquestioned. VAIDS isn't a virus you catch, it's a condition you were given. And now, as immune systems collapse and bodies betray themselves, the truth is clawing its way to the surface, piece by horrifying piece. It started with a leaked document from within the UK government, an admission hidden behind layers of classified reports, a quiet confession. VAIDS wasn't an accident, it was anticipated, managed, controlled. Soon after, leading academic institutions, once the gatekeepers of approved truths, could no longer ignore the data. Immune systems collapsing at unprecedented rates, patterns too precise to be a coincidence. They found the same thing, and they tried to bury it. But the truth doesn't stay buried for long. And now the walls are closing in on those behind the pandemic. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. Chris Cuomo's got it. Fox News journalist Ashley Pupper's got it. Piers Morgan's got it. Amy Schumer's got it. Megyn Kelly's got it. It's not a trend. It's not a coincidence. It's VAIDS.
I regret getting the vaccine, even though I'm a 52-year-old woman, because I don't think I needed it. I think I would have been fine. I got COVID many times, and it was well past when the vaccine was doing what it was supposed to be doing. And then for the first time, I tested positive for an autoimmune issue at my annual physical. And I went to the best rheumatologist in New York, and I asked her, do you think this could have to do with the fact that I got the damn booster and then got COVID within 3 weeks? And she said, yes. Yes, I wasn't the only one she'd seen that.
Vaccines carry a risk known as ADE, antibody-dependent enhancement. It's a condition where the immune system doesn't respond the way it should. Instead of protecting you, it becomes overwhelmed, struggling to fight off other infections. It's similar to how HIV weakens the body defenses, though ADE isn't sexually transmitted. There's a mountain of articles on it if you know where to look. And isn't it an incredible coincidence? Just as millions of people took a gamble with an experimental gene therapy product, some even taking jab after jab, even after having the actual infection, suddenly, our glorious leaders are pushing HIV tests around the world.
I did an HIV test. It's really simple. It's really painless. The test can be sent to you through the post. It's National Testing Week, so it's free. And it's literally just a little prick of the finger, a little drop of blood, goes into a capsule, 2 other mixing fluids, test done. Really, really easy to do, very, very simple. And really important to do it because there's just under 5,000 people who have got HIV but don't know. I found out today that I'm the first Prime Minister to have done this. Now, that's not about me, I'm surprised, but I would just encourage other leaders, community leaders, those that can reach right into different groups within our communities. Do the test yourself, show other people, talk it through, explain, because we have to try and make sure just as many people as possible do get tested.
And now we've arrived at the moment of reckoning. The public, blind followers to the end, awaken to a grim reality. They have VAIDS, and it has ravaged their immune systems, stripped them of their natural defenses, and left them hollowed from within. Panic will set in, fear will take the wheel, and like clockwork, they will turn to the very architects of their downfall, the government, for salvation. And what will the government offer as a solution? The same poison cure that led them here in the first place. More jabs, anyone? When will people finally address the elephant in the room? There has been more than enough evidence to allow people to make an informed choice for years now. Yet the majority of people are still listening to the thoroughly debunked and disgraced so-called experts. Remember when the BBC explicitly told the world that the vaccines contain HIV strands, and most people went right ahead and loaded up their immune systems with multiple doses.
Before the virus meets our cells is what triggers the most protective antibody response. So Keith must make the spike protein in the lab, locking it into exactly the same shape by adding another protein that acts a bit like a clamp. And that protein is a tiny fragment of HIV.
Research scientists connected to a groundbreaking Yale study have uncovered some shocking findings. Free spike protein detected in subjects up to 700 days after receiving a COVID-19 vaccine. A sustained drop in CD4 cells, pointing to serious long-term immune system devastation. In layman's terms, Yale has proven the existence of AIDS, the same condition that the mainstream media and fact-checkers have been so determined to cover up since the vaccine rollout in 2021. But here's where it gets even more alarming. As a Midwestern doctor reports on X, there's an intense behind-the-scenes battle at Yale over whether this study will ever see the light of day. We held off on revealing this leaked data to avoid interfering with the publication process, which is important for scientific credibility. However, it's clear that if this study is published, it will confirm that VAIDS, or long vax, is not a fringe theory, but a real documented condition. One that demands the vaccine be pulled immediately. This puts Yale in an extremely embarrassing position. If they publish it, they expose the risks of the vaccine. If they don't, it's yet another example of critical data being suppressed to protect the pharmaceutical narrative. Yale are in a bind, and they don't want to be the first major US institution to blow the whistle on the jabs. After all, we're talking about the same Yale University that forced students to take 2 jabs and 2 boosters to continue their studies. And the same Yale that banned unvaccinated people from their campuses. Now, that's what you call a textbook case of poor reasoning. But the implications of this study reach far beyond Yale's embarrassment. The spike protein, engineered in a Wuhan lab, contains GP120 GAG sequences from HIV. If you've had COVID or taken the vaccine designed to generate spike protein antibodies, you may have triggered an immune response eerily similar to HIV, raising serious concerns about VAIDS. We've been trying to warn the world for years, while suffering heavy social media censorship for our troubles. We tried to warn the Canadian people that the Trudeau government's vaccine mandates must be defied at all costs. Unfortunately, heavily censored and highly vaccinated Canada is now suffering the consequences.
Even with global rates falling, Canada is seeing numbers here skyrocket for the 2nd year in a row, and some communities are struggling to access services. Here's CTV's Colton Prale.
Canada's HIV epidemic is getting worse.
Have you noticed something unusual about the vaccinated? The greyish pallor in the face, the persistent brain fog, the mood swings, the relentless exhaustion, and their inability to fight off even the mildest cold or flu. You're not alone. These disturbing observations are being reported across the globe. According to experts, this means one thing: billions of people are dying of AIDS. We have the details after this important word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is pillsforever.com. If you think Big Pharma have your best interests at heart, think again. Under Biden, the price of medicine in America has skyrocketed, and there are certain medicines Big Pharma don't want you to know about. That's why I've partnered with pillsforever.com. All of their FDA-approved medicines are the cheapest you'll find anywhere. More importantly, you can order medicines that Big Pharma don't want you to have, such as ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and fenbendazole. Speaking of fenbendazole, not only does it get rid of parasites that live inside your body, there have been studies that show fenbendazole can help with cancer. Listen to this testimony of Joe Tippins, a cancer survivor, thanks to fenbendazole.
2 years ago, Joe Tippins says he was told to go home, call hospice, and say his goodbyes. The doctors were unanimous. He was going to die of small cell lung cancer.
Once that kind of cancer goes that far afield, the odds of survival are less than 1%, and the median life expectancy is 3 months.
Tippins says he got a tip, not from a pharmacist, but a veterinarian. And in his desperation, he turned from people medicine to dog medicine. Specifically, fenbendazole.
My insurance company spent $1.2 million on me with traditional means before I switched to a $5 a week medicine that actually saved me.
Get 15% off using coupon code People's Voice at the checkout. Please click the link below this video to take advantage of this fantastic offer.